Welcome, listeners, to Kyle and Cody's called CinemaCast. I'm Kyle,
I'm Cody.
and we're reviewing MetalStorm: The Destruction of Jared Sin. Just getting that out there,
Uh, yep.
because
Yeah, that's fair
yeah,
enough.
I, I feel like I've made a bad habit of waiting 20 minutes to say the name of the movie,
Yeah,
which
no,
I think
that
I'm still gonna ramble, but yeah,
I think I
I think it's
probably don't help a lot of the times during that when I'm like, oh, this is my pre-ramble into a movie, and then we don't even really talk about the movie, which I think this movie's got a lot going for it.
yeah, no, it'll be all right. It's all right. It's not too long or anything, but still ramble. But I mean, this is all another thing too, because the name of the movie's in the title. Like it's the first letters of the title of the video or podcast, depending on how you watch this. Um, and then people pretend that they hate the rambling at the beginning of the podcast, even though it's what everyone comes for.
Yes.
Yeah, it's literally the people who complain about stuff at the beginning of the podcast, like rambling at the beginning of the podcast, are not the regulars.
Mhm.
Because I universally love it.
Yeah, I
Usually,
think that's pretty much any podcast. Like you don't actually come for um, a whatchamacallit of a plot synopsis of Jared said you want the unhinged tirades right off the start.
see, I'm debating whether or not to say something random or start actually talking about the movie.
Well, I mean,
I just debate it. Yeah,
there's generally like a good way to go about this, uh, and I think the best way to start here is to generally talk about why this movie is even on here, and that's because at one point in time, I brought this up in our last episode where we talked about this film director, which was
Charles.
Excalibrate.
Well, okay. So here's how this happened. We were reviewing Dungeon Master a while
Dungeon
back.
Master, yeah, also known as
Um,
Excalibrate.
and yeah, one of the directors of that of the segments of that movie directs this movie, and also the main actor in that movie is the main actor in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking through his filmography, and we were just and flipping through it, and it's just one of the you were like, oh yeah, he's done a few other movies, and he's done MetalStorm: Destruction of Jared Sin. I'm like, I want to watch that movie. We're doing that on the podcast,
Yeah,
and that
and
was how this happened.
I think it generally, in terms of films, I think this one's a bit more coherent and has a singular storyline, while Excalibrate was, I think, between how many directors? 7?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So you definitely get more of a distinguished voice or distinguished feeling to this movie compared to the other ones, which kind of go over like a little bit over the top in some places. So
I'd say I got 70% of what I wanted out of this movie. I'd say.
yeah, I think when I was actually sitting down and watching this movie, I think I came up with a new way that I want to start marking films or critiquing films at least in general, and that's like, how much money do you think I can make this exact same movie in today's dollars? I think you could get away with maybe matching the budget on this film, which I can't remember what the
Yeah.
budget wise it was, but
I mean, I know gasoline's way more. Like these guys burn like a ton. I don't. Do they use
uh,
gasoline in these explosions? I don't know. But
diesel.
I don't. What do they use to make big fireball explosions? But they make a lot of explosions in this movie, and they are glorious. Just big, puffy, fiery things. It's great. I see IMDb says $3.5 million estimated budget.
Okay, okay, maybe we can't do it, but we could do a lot of the special effects and probably do them a lot cheaper than what they were doing during this period of time. So I think when we're looking at a budget estimation, we could probably mark off, I don't know, maybe 60, 70,000.
I feel like we have more of a concern about like starting grass fires out here. We don't have like easy access to a desert.
Yeah, that would be kind of an issue.
Yeah, like we could do this and we could do more or less do this in big money, but like you'd be causing some grass fires still. Yeah, and this thing's filmed in like Arizona. So,
That's a
um
really weird distinction. So I'm looking at the Google page of MetalStorm, and on IMDb it has a star rating of 3.9 out of 10, and a Rotten Tomatoes score out of 23%, and a Amazon.ca rating of 4.2 out of 5. So apparently people on Amazon really like this film.
box office is 5.3 million. So it did it okay. Didn't
Oh,
make its I don't think it made its money back.
okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of these
Um
are talking about the film, but I guess more of it is also talking about how the film came into delivery system. So you get
yeah.
like
No, I didn't
one of
get a
the
lot of
coolest
background on this movie.
B movies ever made. And then other people on Amazon.ca are like, yeah, this arrived in really good condition. So,
The DVD was pretty good.
did you get it on DVD?
Yeah, I got it on Blu-ray. Also, my Blu-ray comes with a 3D copy.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not sure if that's like 3D TV or like blue, yellow, blue cyan or red cyan 3D.
Is that where you have to put
I
on
didn't
the
feel like
old,
checking.
like, you shitty Blu-ray
Yeah,
glasses that are red and blue and like,
yes.
huh?
I'm not sure whether which one it uses or not. This movie was originally released in 3D.
I think
You
it
can tell.
might have been one of the first.
A couple of the reviews, I did notice a general ascension that it's very similar to other films. It doesn't have like a lot of original stuff. They generally praise it for like having like a good attitude and being like a fun movie to watch. But I did see like a particular, at least one guy like is straight up just like, yeah, this is a straight up rip off of Hunter Adventures in the or in the Forbidden Zone.
I think I
Which I don't know.
actually
I might watch that one day.
remember seeing that. Um, I think it was one of the Robert Ebert's people.
But yeah, this film comes to us from the Band family, directed by Charles Band, produced by Charles Band, produced by Band's dad, Alfred. I think one of Charles's kids does the music. It's either his kid or his brother. Richard Band does the music.
Also, this guy was in Star Trek,
Uh,
apparently.
which guy?
Like, he might have been an uncredited extra or something like that, but Jeffrey Byron?
It's easily like everyone's been on Star Trek, really.
No, the
There's a
2009
lot of
Star
people
Trek
who are on.
film, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing that. I'm not worried about it. I don't think he's one of them. He's not a major character.
Oh,
Anyway.
God, no. No. I don't think this guy has been
But yeah, I
in
think Richard
anything.
Band is like either Charles Band's brother or son. Yeah, brother, because he's born in 1978. Oh wait, hold on. That's Oh no, that's the years active. But yeah, probably his brother.
Okay. So he was a test administrator in the 2009 Star Trek films. So I'm assuming that is the
Okay, he was just yeah.
uh one of the guys who's uh doing the, what is it called, test in the beginning
Yeah.
of
The Kobayashi Maru?
yeah, that one. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard Band is Charles Band's brother. So yeah, this is a big family project in a lot of ways. Script by Alan J. Adler, who does not have a Wikipedia. Jeffrey Byron, obviously he was the guy from main character in Dungeon Master, and he's the main character in this. Co-starring with Michael Preston plays the bad guy, the titular Jared Sin. We also have Richard Mole, who I think is from Night Court. We have Kelly Preston playing the female lead. Tim Thomerson is playing one of the side a character called Rhodes. Thomerson is from actor and comedian. Tim Thomerson is in a bunch. I think he's one of the main. I think he's maybe the main guy in one of the main guys in Trancers, which is a movie series. He's in all of them.
I was talking that
he's also in a bunch of the. Yeah.
As a return from Dungeon Master, we have just Richard Mole and Jeffrey Byron. Who Richard Mole? I think he played the Mastema. I think he was the main villain.
Oh yeah, he was the bad guy in that.
In the Dungeon Master. So.
And now in this one, he comes back as a hero.
Yes.
And then the other main character we have is David Smith, who plays Ball. And this, I think, is one of his biggest roles, actually.
He doesn't have.
He has a bit part. Yeah.
Wikipedia.
I think he has a few bit parts. He's in Showdown in Little Tokyo and Predator 2.
Nice.
And he's in a movie called T-Force, which doesn't have Mr. T in it. I don't know what's even the point of watching. Yeah, there's a movie called T-Force, no Mr. T, but it has a guy called Jack Scala being the main character. Some white, which is weird, but because there was also like a comic called Mr. T into T-Force. So that's why I'm making the comment. That's the big things. Anyway, those are the main actors. Tim Thomerson, he's up in a bunch of the Dollmans and Trancers. Oh yeah, he was also in Nemesis for a bit. Oh wait, he's the bad guy from Nemesis, I think. Hold on.
And this is
I think he might.
Thomerson?
Yeah, that might be. Hold on.
Hunter, Trancers, Volunteers, Murder She Wrote.
Yeah, no, he was Farnes. He was the bad guy from Nemesis. How did I didn't see that? I suppose this movie is like 7 years later. He aged a good bit.
I mean, this is Nemesis 3.
No.
No.
Tim Thomerson is in all of them.
Yep, you are correct. Nemesis
for
1.
whatever reason. Yeah, actually, this movie's a full 10 years before Nemesis, basically. Yeah, he's aged a good bit, and he looks sort of old, but he's not like super old. He's just older.
77.
He's older than Jeffrey Byron.
And the last film last work he's done was in 2017. So he's still out there somewhere.
Oh, he's only like a couple years younger, I suppose. Yeah, he's 9 years older than Jeffrey Byron. So yeah,
11 years.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Byron's 68 right now, and this guy's 77. So
all right.
Story is a space age.
But yeah,
Western.
this movie's a bit of a space western. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh,
go ahead.
I was just saying exactly what you're saying. Space age western, which
so this movie's a bit of a space western.
Esoteric sorcery and high technology.
Yeah, it's sort of, I suppose, not really a space western because they don't really go to space. I don't know. That's the situation here.
California at best.
Yeah, it's like a high tech. Yeah, it's a sci-fi western, but I don't know. There's never any indication that there's like other planets or anything.
I also like how it's quoted as a high tech universe, but like according to what? Because this is very low tech according to our.
I mean, yeah, it's like not really a lot of high tech. It's got like small aircraft, which don't require a lot of like takeoff time, so those are kind of neat. And they got laser guns, but it's not actually that much more technology than what we have. I guess Ball's a cyborg.
I like the caption for this movie in the poster, like the theatrical release poster. It says it's high noon at the end of the universe. So
yeah, it's a kind of cool. It's also possibly stolen.
Oh,
I think there's a movie called Oblivion 2, which uses the same tagline.
Oh wow!
I'll find what the full title of it is. Yeah, the movie's tagline. It says it was used in the. Sorry, it didn't steal it. Oblivion 2 stole it from this movie.
Yes.
Oblivion 2 Backlash doesn't come. Yeah, Oblivion 2 Backlash is like a direct video, another space western written by fucking. Okay,
Peter
hold
David.
on. Hold on. Okay, so I'm reading the wiki for Oblivion 2 Backlash. 1996 director video space western directed by Sam Irvin, written by Peter David of Hulk fame, and from a story by Charles Band. So
They just regurgitated their whole
that's where they got the
a
tagline
different
from.
movie.
Yeah, they just made another space western.
Okay.
I don't think this is a sequel because it's also titled in other places as Backlash Oblivion 2. Okay. Okay. So it is a sequel. It's a sequel to a slightly earlier film, also written by Charles Band, just called Oblivion. And the villain on the Oblivion poster has very similar makeup to Ball in this movie.
The first film's cast Andrew
Yeah.
Givoff. Oh, it has George Takei in it.
Ooh. Yeah.
And nobody else.
And Peter
Actually
David,
has
he's a big Hulk writer, so that's kind of a good sign. I'm gonna watch. I get way too into like random movies from random guys like this. I've watched way too much movies by Charles Band and Albert Pune. I don't know. There's just something that I appreciate about those filmmakers, and I just want to watch all of their movies for whatever reason. This happens every time I do one of these reviews for either of those guys. Yeah, that's our tagline. Kyle, he likes Albert Pune and Charles Band for whatever reason, even though the movies are never that good. Except for Captain America, that was really good. I need to find what I wonder what Charles Band's Captain America is. I'll look through his
probably
filmography
this.
see if I can. I don't. I don't think so. Wait, hold on. Okay, Charles Band also makes a movie called Crash. I don't know. It's one of those
False
things.
Pounders.
Evil Bong 2, King Bong,
Oh, I'm
Evil
looking at
Bong 3D, Wrath of the Bong,
Jeffrey Byron.
Puppet Master 10. Yeah, he did a bunch of
Gingerbread Man versus Evil Bong, which came out in
No.
2013.
Ginger Dead Man versus Eagle Bong.
Oh, I said Dread.
Vampire Slaughter Eaten Alive. Oh god, he did a movie called Corona Zombies in 2020.
Parasite
A
1982
documentary
film.
called Blood of a Thousand Virgins. I don't know what that is about. Decadent Evil Dead and Decadent Evil Dead 2. Maybe I just need to watch Trancers. Maybe Trancers is really good. Or what? Parasite?
Yeah, 1982 science fiction horror film. The film is set in a dystopian post-apocalyptic future in which the United States has taken over by a criminal organization which unwittingly creates an uncontrollable deadly parasite and sets it loose on the population.
What's Charles Band's best movie?
The film features actress Demi Moore in her first major film role.
Okay, what is Okay. Okay, he did the original Puppet Master. I've heard Puppet Master's good, actually. Wait.
Yeah, Puppet Master.
Okay, hold on.
Rage War?
No, he didn't do Puppet Master. Okay, I think he's a producer on those. Okay, he directed Trancers. Maybe I'll watch Trancers. Why is this is the IMDb, you're failing me right now. I'm going to watch Trancers eventually. I don't know what Trancers is about. Maybe I'll like it. I don't know.
Maybe check out Dr. Morbid.
Talking about the movie.
1992 superhero film directed by the team of Albert and Charles Bance.
Oh god, it's an obvious Doctor Strange knockoff. I'm looking at the visual.
Are you telling me you wouldn't watch that though? Just by looking at the poster?
Yeah, I probably would.
Exactly.
Yeah, I might. Oh yeah, it's also a film that made it into season 13 of Mystery Science Theater. Oh, that's one of the new ones. I might. Anyway, moving on. Talking about the actual fucking movie. The movie opens to clouds. Lots of storm clouds going overhead as they show us all the credits for everyone who worked on this movie. Although presumably not everyone because they put more people. But it goes on for a long time. There's not much happening. It's kind of a boring title sequence. The title looks like you expect. It's just like big stone metal letters. It's kind of cool. Next, our true opening is on a guy with a scuffed up motorcycle helmet and a leather and he's staring through a window of this sort of Jeep thing. This is our main character, Dojin. That's spelled Dogen, not like fan made independent Japanese comics, which I made. That's my first thought. But we're not going to move on to that. We're going to move on. Yeah, it's revealed that he's wearing a cool leather jacket, like getting this movie's Mad Max vibe. There's a noticeable scene in the beginning where you like lose track of the engine noise. Also, the engine noise isn't very loud for whatever reason, but yeah, it's just very quiet Jeep thing. It's got one window that's bigger than the other. A lot of these Road Warrior vehicles will end up getting used in the one segment of Dungeon Master.
But, okay,
where they're driving around.
is it just me?
Yeah.
Or is this cockpit like superimposed with a green screen in the background?
Could be.
Okay.
I wasn't paying too much attention.
I'm pretty sure it's a single occupancy vehicle that instead of like just like showing a cockpit, they're like, we need to make this more scientific, so they put in like a backdrop on a green screen with a whole bunch of gears and knobs.
Yeah.
And like
well, I don't think they ever. There's no
like
back
that.
window on this vehicle, so it could just be part of a set.
Okay, fair enough. It just doesn't look very, very normal.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that properly.
No.
Realistic.
Yeah.
I
I get you. I get what you're saying. But yeah, it's some weird dune buggy Jeep thing. It's not the coolest. It just kind of looks a little lame.
Mm-hmm.
But it's whatever. As our hero is driving around, this guy in a ponytail chases him with this jet propelled hover glider, and he fires at them from the air. The little turret on the top of his Jeep gets blown out, so our hero has to reach out the side of the window and shoot with his little handgun, which evidently works because the glider flies into the side of a mountain, and our hero is able to loot the body for a red gem with a symbol on it. It kind of looks like a tree.
Like in theory, this should have worked. It looked super cool, and then like the actual special effects kind of fail it in this scene. Like the explosion and the aftermath of it look really good, but the actual like fight sequence is literally just like green screen.
They want to make use of the jet gliders, but they don't have a good technique to make it look good.
Yeah.
They don't have like the model work or anything, because it's not a model work. They're just like any scene with the jet fighters on, it's super like those are green screened.
Okay.
Like those are a thing they put in front of a green screen and like superimpose onto the visuals. So they all look really bad.
Want to make it sound like it's a fact that like was potentially being used for 3D stuff, and because we're not watching it in 3D, that it just kind of falls flat. But yeah, I just don't think it really works here.
Yeah.
Or
no, they shouldn't have. The one thing they shouldn't have done is they shouldn't have used the jet fighters, the jet gliders for the finale, which is the thing they're going to do. Because it's the worst looking effect, and they saved it for the end.
Yeah, fair enough.
They should have stuck that somewhere in the middle. I don't know, or just not done it. That's also an option.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely do Mad Max vibes here and just have like a really cool, like bike chase or something like that. That would make it even so much better. But also,
yeah. You get a lot of good car chases in this, and maybe they probably just didn't want to overdo them.
Yeah, fair.
Because they do got 2 or 3, which is a lot. and like adding that fourth one might have just not been very good. But I think maybe they should have come up with a different option idea. I don't know. Also, the ending is kind of the weakest part of this movie anyway, so they should have done something else there, just in general.
Hmm.
But we'll save that conversation. Also, I think I want to point out all the loot in this movie is fantasy based, but all the weapons are technology based. That's just sort of weird. They fight with laser guns and like fancy looking melee weapons, but every time they need to recover loot, it's like a fancy crystal or a fancy mask, some magic item.
Yeah, but we don't know how like technology is like ran in this world. So in theory, what would happen if your
Oh
laser
yeah,
gun
fair
is
enough.
being powered by a crystal, or
Yeah, that's true too. And I mean, that's also just a fine vibe, honestly.
sorry?
Like just gunslingers with magic items.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
that
think
could be a vibe. I'd play that RPG.
like when you look at the like a lot of I guess fantasy in terms of westerns, like I feel like that's generally the vibe that like we were getting from this is like you need to make it cowboy but also wizardy,
Yeah,
and that's kind of like a really weird line to cross.
yeah. I
Uh,
I don't think
I
they do a terrible job for the most. There's some execution things that are okay, that are kind of rough, but I think they do okay.
I started rewatching Sons of Anarchy recently, which is it came out in I don't even know 2008 or 9, and you generally get to start to feel like the kind of westerny vibe. It's described as a neo-western,
Mm-hmm.
so
So yeah, we cut to our female lead, who's a prospector with her dad, and they pull out this big crystal from this crystal mine they're uh trying to re uh like examine from somebody else, and then they go outside with the big crystal.
I love this scene because it. Sorry, I was gonna say I love this scene because it generally doesn't look like these guys were definitely like prospecting before the um screen was rolling, like the movie was being filmed, so they don't know how to like work a pickaxe or any of those things because this guy's just like generally holding this pickaxe and like casually doing like 1-2
Yep.
chops at the mine, and then they go into dialogue so this guy doesn't have to do that anymore.
And she's like examining the rock walls with this weird little tester gun thing with a
Yeah.
glass tube in it. But yeah, as soon as they find this crystal, they walk outside, and then the bandits arrive.
Hmm. Which is really
Which
convenient.
the bad guys in this are called Cyclopeans because they have like a growths over one side of their eye, for the most part.
Yeah.
Jared Sin, the lead bad guy, doesn't,
Hmm.
but the rest of them seem to. We meet one of our primary antagonists, a guy called Ball, who's a green cyborg guy who looks sort of undead, and he's got like a metal prosthetic limb that doesn't have like a permanent hand on the end, but will extend into a little two-pronged claw which spits acid at people that makes people go into hallucinations in which they are confronted with the main bad guy of the film, Jared Sin, who touches them with a red crystal and absorbs their life force, killing them.
So he's a villain within a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, Ball is Jared Sin's son, also.
But also Jared Sid.
No, Jared Sin's like, just, no, because like, Ball shoots the acid at a guy, the guy hallucinates Jared Sin, who's sort of summoned through like the astral plane to go take his life to go take the victim's life force,
Sure.
which is, yeah, it's weird, but I kind of like it,
The
honestly.
most convoluted
It's kind
way
of
of.
neat.
Yep.
Oh yeah, which I'm there for that. That can be fun. So the dad's dead. So before this happened, our female lead, Diana, not spelled the way you'd expect. It's spelled like Dhynia, but she's been hiding in the cave, and eventually Dojin notices the smoke, and he goes to investigate, and he finds Diana there, and explains that he is a ranger, finder class, and that he's here to take on Jared Sin because because Jared Sin's broken treaties, which means that there's going to be a holy war.
Sure.
He was an Arizona Ranger with a big iron on his hip.
I mean, yeah. I went definitely the other way with this, where I'm like, oh, he's a ranger class, but he doesn't talk to animals
Yeah.
at all throughout this entire film.
Yeah. No, he's an Arizona Ranger with a big iron on his hip. He wouldn't be long in town, for he was looking for Jared Sin. I I am just drawing a blank on the lyrics, even though I've played like literally a million hours of Fallout New Vegas, and
I
I should know that song by heart.
When I like to play a character in Overwatch named Cole Cassidy, who used to be named McCree up until Blizzard ousted the guy who made him, who did bad things. I
Yeah.
like to listen to like songs that make me feel like a cowboy. So that song and Wild Wild West by Will Smith, I pretty much play on a loop. So
Uh,
it's like you got to get into the mood of being a cowboy when you're playing cowboys.
yeah. So, yeah. Okay, next page of my notes, because I'm sorry, I've been so distracted by you saying that you listen to Wild Wild West to make you feel like a cowboy.
Sometimes you got it.
Okay, so they go into so she's Diana says that if they talk to the guy they buy equipment from, maybe he'll have some idea of where this crystal comes from that Dojin found. And they go to talk to the guy, and he says that oh yeah, this is a symbol of the lost city of Set. So you got to find the lost city of Set in order to find Jared Sin. I don't know how to find it, but this guy Rhodes does. And yeah, so where you're going to need Rhodes, because this isn't Back to the Future, and Doc Brown doesn't. You think this movie would have been improved if you had Doc Brown in it? He's a decent actor.
I think this would generally be the time period that what's his face was just getting his start to films, right?
No, I think it. Well, I mean, Back to the Future is also the '80s. What's the guy's name again?
I'm completely drawing blanks.
Hold
Dr.
on.
Emmett Brown
I can
being
find out.
played by
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd, yeah.
No, he was active during this time. I think he's just out of their price range, probably.
He's another one of those guys that generally really started late.
Oh yeah. Also, I suppose this is a little bit before he started doing a lot of films, I guess.
He was in Star Trek 3.
Oh yeah. He's the bad guy in Star. He's the lead Klingon in Star Trek 3.
And
Shatner kicks him in the face and says, "I have had enough of you."
1975. This is his first film, and then I guess he did.
Okay, he's in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, he didn't even do television before then. Like he started Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then in 1976 he started acting in television, doing the Adams Chronicles in 1976.
You know, it's weird, that line delivery is sort of accurate to the movie, and also that comes after like Christopher Lloyd kills Kirk's son.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd kills William Shatner's son in that movie.
In
Star Trek 3.
Star Trek 3. The Search for Spock.
Yeah.
If you had to
Yes.
like go through right now and rank all the Star Trek films, what would you say is like the best Star Trek film?
Wrath of Khan.
Okay. I think that's the most
without a doubt.
acceptable answer.
5's good. It's the one where they save whales, which you wouldn't think would be very good, but it is really good. Actually, I think that's 4. 4 is the one where they save the whales. Which it sounds really lame, but it's actually really. I don't even think they have the Enterprise in that one. They do that. They do that entire movie by using. They're barely in Star Trek uniform the entire movie, and they like go back into the past with like a Klingon bird of prey, which is a thing you could just do in the original series. You didn't have any of this stuff where you had to do like a convoluted time travel thing. You just went into the past. You didn't need to do any. It didn't need to be a plot thing. You could just do it. And yeah, they go to save whales. It's pretty good. 3's all right.
Mm-hmm.
5, I think 5's also really good. All the original series ones are all right, except for the first one.
Huh.
The first one's really the only one I'm not.
Apparently, Christopher Lloyd's in Kingdom Hearts as Xenoheart, like one of the main Final Fantasy characters.
Oh, Xenoheart. He's one. Okay, he's that guy. Okay.
He's like one of the bad guys.
I don't know. I've really only played the DS ones.
I played the PlayStation.
I think there's like 3 Xenohearts.
1 and 2.
Weird.
So.
Oh, okay. So he's the scientist looking one.
Oh, that would make sense.
I don't remember my Kingdom Hearts.
He's also in Over the Garden Wall, which I really like.
So yeah, we get a little bit of a scene with Jared Sin. They reveal that they have a whole case of the red crystals, which are like which we revealed in the other scene is like they're storage crystals, and they store people's life force. Which you think is going to be like a whole thing where they're going to restore everyone back from the dead, but nope, they're dead. It's just a way of killing people that's sort of weird, and they're doing it to fuel a really big blue crystal. Diana and Dojin go to find Rhodes at the next settlement, and they're cut off by Bal, who does a big ambush. Diana manages to shoot off a bunch of the bad guys, but not until after Ball shoots Dojin with some acid and gets him to do the hallucination. But because Diana's with him, she manages to prevent Jared Sin from like absorbing his life force because they're stronger together, and I guess she's in love with him. Even though they've literally known each other for less than 12 hours. Like absolute tops.
I think 12 hours is probably pushing it, but maybe.
Yeah, no, because like it's night in the scene where they're attacked by Jared Sin's like in the astral plane or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not clear how much of the hallucination that Diana saw. So yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, we need to stay together because together we are strong. And then Jared Sin instantly uses a magic spell to teleport Diana to him, and then uses a crystal to teleport a monster over to Dojin, which is a big, cool-looking lightning crystal monster that Dojin defeats by shooting a rock, which leaks water, and then the monster steps into the water and short circuits. See, this is the problem with this movie. They introduce cool things and have like really lame solutions to them. And also, never mind the fact that one of the main characters was kidnapped by teleportation, and is basically not going to be in the movie for like a third of the runtime. But the movie's not very long, so you notice, but it's whatever. So yeah, this is a weird scene. A lot of cool stuff in it, but it's done very weirdly. Dojin drives his vehicle to a tent town, and we get like a long scene where he walks through the tent town, and he pays the bartender for the location of Rhodes, who he talks to and just sort of refuses to help for a while. And then Dojin walks outside and sees one of the Cyclopeans getting beat up by some townsfolk. And after he gets beat up, he goes to check on the Cyclopean. The townsfolk frown upon this, and they just start to do like a quick draw duel in the middle of town because they've started antagonizing each other for some reason. And Dojin's able to get the first one, but gets disarmed by the second one that he's fighting. And Rhodes has to come and save him, and then Rhodes is the sidekick for the next portion of the movie.
Also, this is hilarious
He will
because
be the sidekick until the finale.
considering like you see the laser beam guns like completely like destroy people in this film, and then this guy gets shot in the hand, and it just knocks the gun out of his hand.
Yeah.
So a little bit of character plot armor.
Yeah, and this is gonna be the first instance. I guess this was implying that Dojin's gonna start learning the ways of the Cyclopeans to try to get on their good side. But I thought he was just gonna like talk to the guy for information at first. I didn't
Yeah.
realize this was a big deal. Rhodes's deal is that he used to be a ranger and he was a bunch of other stuff. Rhodes is wearing like the old ranger uniform, which is less cool.
Sure.
And it's like, oh yeah, you must have fought in the Sand Wars, and yeah, that's it doesn't sound as cool as like Clone Wars, which is the thing they're clearly trying to rip off.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean, that's one of many movies this is ripping on.
this and there's a pretty good argument to be made that it's also trying to rip off Indiana Jones.
A little bit. In my opinion, it's Mad Max by way of Star Wars, by way of Dances with Wolves a little bit. Except that's a little bit more of a shorthanded one. I suppose name another western where like the white protagonist goes in and becomes like a friend with I guess old Iron Hands, but that's a bit of a reference.
Fair enough.
But yeah, because this gets a little white savory at points.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I felt. But we'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later. So they drive up to this Cyclopean burial ground, where if they are found on it, they will be shot. So they have to sneak across, but they can't They drive the jeep for a little bit, and then come to an obstacle they can't cross. So they have to walk through a sand pit with these sort of feline sandworms in it, and Dojin finds a crystal mask in a box on like this tombstone, which he takes, and then they get attacked by sandworms. They shoot off the sandworms, and then they get away with the mask, and then are instantly confronted by the Cyclopeans. The Cyclopeans just like, did you take this mask? And then Rhodes is just like, oh, he took it. Don't worry, I didn't have anything to do with it. And he's just like, well, you were supposed to take the mask. That's actually a thing you were supposed to do. And he's like, okay, okay, I guess it was a team effort. And they're like, okay, this means you have proven yourself as a warrior, but you are on our land, so you must be killed. And then Rhodes, who has like hidden knowledge of what these guys are like, is just like, okay, well, because he's a warrior, he gets to do a test and try to prove himself, so that he can be like accepted as one of the tribe. So Dojin has to fight our other main character, Hurok, played by Richard Mole. Hurok gets into like a sort of knife fight with it gets put into a pit with Dojin, and they have to each hold the end of a band while they're trying to fight each other with these really dull scythes.
Yeah.
Like, these weapons do not look sharp whatsoever.
I don't think scythes are supposed to be sharp.
Well, they're supposed to be pointy.
Yeah, but not sharp.
Well, I mean, they're not pointy either.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they clearly have like rounded tips. But maybe that's just because we're watching this in like HD. Dojin ends up winning the knife fight, so that he is now a member of a respected warrior in the tribe, and is like now Hurok's friend. And if this was the thing about space westerns is, if this was an actual western, you could claim this was being a little bit racist, but because it's a space western, that means it's not.
I just assume all westerns are just kind of low key racist.
That's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. But yeah, I'm not pulling this out of my ass. All the Cyclopeans are sort of like, for the most part, very heavily, pretty heavily racially coded. I might even say some of them are sort of in like brown face or red face. It seems like they got a big, or like they got a good tan going on at least.
Hmm.
Though I'm not gonna like full on make that claim. Not my place. It is definitely reusing some tropes. Yeah, they end up getting going to the secret city. Hurok vaguely tells them where to go, but he's not gonna go in there with them because he's got to go actually to meet Jared Zinn because Jared Zinn's calling like a war council or something, and that Jared Zinn is trying to unite all the Cyclopean tribes to go to war or something. I guess. He's clearly a bad guy, though. Our heroes have to go in through a car chase. They gun a bunch of people down. They make their way to a river with some blue crystals off the side. Uh, and this is where Dojin tries on the mask, and he is taken to a vision where he is all sweaty and shirtless, and he's given an axe, and he sees a flaming tree, and he hits the flaming tree with an axe, and then it bleeds, which is, if I had any idea where they're going with this, where they were going with this, I'd think it was brilliant. Hell of a visual. Anyway, Ball ends up finding Rhodes and Dojin, and they fight. Rhodes takes a throwing star to the face, and then Dojin gets a rush of super strength and rips off Ball's prosthetic arm, which is really cool. Something's going on, and again, if I knew what they were trying to do, I'd think it was brilliant. But I don't. So I don't think it's brilliant. Ball flees and goes back to the base, and he tells Jared Sin that he should kill Diana to divide him from his girlfriend so he's not as strong, I guess. Because they're supposed to be together, and that having them together will make him even more stronger, and he's clearly getting pretty strong. Anyway, the war councils gathered together. They're having a whole discussion about what to do, and Jared Sin's trying to coax all the Cyclopean tribes into war. Dojin arrives, and it starts disagreeing with Jared. He's told to get out by Jared. Hurok vouches for him. This is where we're hitting peak white savior, because our hero goes and scolds the main guy of these, I guess, like First Nations coded tribes, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, no, Jared just wants bad things," which he does, but again, this is all fictional. I don't know. Eventually, Dojin's just like, he just wants to enslave you all and make you his puppets, and he just wants to do this holy war so he can gain territory and become more powerful. And he's just, and Hurok and Jared Sin's just like, don't listen to him. I'm your master, and I'm going to do all the things he says I'm going to do. So, yeah, no, that's a hell of an argument. I'm not evil. I'm evil. And so Hurok's just like, oh, I don't like that you're calling me calling yourself my master. So, yeah, we're going to turn against you. And Jared Sin uses the power of the crystal. A burning tree shows up, which Jared Sin says is a sign. Again, I don't know what a sign of. That's never explained to me in the movie. I don't know. But Jared Sin uses the crystal for a bit. Dojin uses the mask to reflect one of the laser beams from the big crystal back at him. The crystal helmet gets shattered in a scuffle, and Jared Sin teleports away onto a glider and starts flying away. So then Dojin has to grab one of the Cyclopean helmets, I guess symbolizing that he is a warrior in their culture now, and he gets on one of the jet gliders and chases after Jared Sin in like a very boring scene. Like they're at no point are the like very barely are these things shown on screen together, and Jared Sin, and Dojin's just sort of like following around, shooting lasers at him, until eventually Jared Sin's just, evil gods of Set, give me power to open up a portal, and he opens up the portal, and Dojin chases him from the portal for a bit, but eventually he's kicked out of the portal, and I guess Jared Sin makes his way to this other dimension where the heroes say that he is now trapped, and so they destroy the crystal with a laser gun to ensure that he stays trapped there. So just right now, the tagline of this movie is a lie because Jared Sin is never destroyed. Like he full on just gets away. Like I don't know, maybe the destruction of Jared Sin is referring to destruction caused by Jared Sin, but I'm not sure that's how grammar works.
The destruction of the idea of Jaredson.
I don't. Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I'm getting too. I don't know. Maybe sequel baiting.
Yeah, they clearly wanted a sequel,
Okay, fair
but it
enough.
never happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, which is maybe why Charles Band tries the space western thing again later.
Hmm.
So our heroes walk off. Rhodes is apparently alive and picks up the car and gives them a drive home, even though I'm pretty sure that car is a two-seater. And there's three of them because he's rescued Diana. And that's the end of the. Yeah, I don't know. The ending's really disappointing. It just uses the worst effects of the movie. It's the most confusing thing. I don't feel like there's an actual resolution here. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, for what it was worth, I definitely enjoyed watching it.
Oh, it's fine, yeah.
Like, the whole, like, space worms scene was fairly cool. The sword fight scene against Harrock was really good. But yeah, I think it just falls apart at the end. So.
Yeah, I make a big deal about the like white savior thing in this movie, but I don't know that it's not the worst I've seen of the example, and like it's mostly just like just a struggling with the thing because they're giving like this is the secret to avoiding it to a degree. Just don't make the protagonist solve all the problems in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just sort of comes in, beats the natives at their own game, and becomes big guy. I don't know. I'd be maybe less hard on it if it wasn't just so cliche in like other senses too. So yeah.
And I mean, also, like, none of the symbolism also works. Like, this whole red tree crystal thing would make a lot more sense if they were like, this is going to be like a 3-part series, and this is the start of it. And Jaredson's the victim or the like main protagonist in the next film.
Tell us a fable.
Yeah.
Tell us a fable of what the burning tree means.
There's definitely ways to get around this.
Yeah, like if the burning tree meant something,
mm-hmm.
which, like, okay, burning tree, like it clearly means something. Like that's clearly like a good bit of imagery, but they don't explain it. Which I know they say show don't tell, but tell a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to tell to show.
Build up Jaredson a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I want to see him do more evil things before they're like, this is the bad guy to be.
Yeah.
Like 3-part movie villain. So.
Ball does a lot of the work in this movie.
Well, Ball was actually kind of cool. And so was Jaredson's costume.
Ball is cool.
I'll give him that much. Like, the full metal.
Yeah.
He definitely has, like, a Doctor Doom vibes going on. Or, like...
Yeah.
The Silver Surfer.
And Ball's clearly got this, like... He's, like, sort of looks undead. And, like, he's clearly, like, been through some shit. And, like, you kind of feel for the character. Like he does evil, but you kind of get this vibe from him that like he's doing his best for his dad, and I don't know that that's you get that there's more to it feels like there's more to this character. Like I do sort of believe it. He eventually gets stabbed by Turok at the end of the movie. I didn't mention that, but yeah, he does. He gets stabbed after he shatters the mask trying to defeat Dojin. But yeah.
Yeah, all in all, I think I'll rate this probably 6 or 7. I think you can talk me up to a 7, but 6 is generally where I'm at. If they would
Uh,
have they pulled
I'm
this
at a 5.
together, like maybe an 8.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm more of a 5. It's fine.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm just not. They just if they'd given me something else, I would have maybe pushed.
Hmm.
But like,
Also,
yeah, there is obviously some really cool bits. But yeah.
they definitely need to fix our pilot scenes. Pilot scenes need to work better.
Oh yeah. If they had if those visual effects had turned out better, that would have been like a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think like this is an easy like this could easily be a 6. It's just on like it needs like a couple more straws to bounce the scales over to a 6 for me.
Fair enough.
But it's just not quite there yet. Yeah.
And I wonder if they fix it by by Oblivion 2. There's a part of me that wants to go watch Oblivion 2 and see if they can fix it in the whole.
Yeah, we could watch. I don't know. Maybe
What is
maybe
it?
do Oblivion or at some point. I don't know.
We don't need to. We definitely do not need to.
Yeah, we
But
can watch it on our own time.
yeah,
Any idea what we're doing next? I've kind of lost track.
I think I have a pick here, but I don't know what it's gonna be yet at this point. So
Okay. Yep, because it is your pick.
okay, fair enough.
And
I'll
then I
have to
think
look
we're
into
close
it.
to finale episode.
Sure.
There might be one. Anyway, podcast is over. Stopping the recording. Goodbye.